Space actually upgrading one of his towers to a spirit tower. It's a weird choice to upgrade, but or a weird choice of one to upgrade just because it's a bit out of the way. But I guess it's gonna stop Micheal from running behind his base, which is always nice. And Shade just getting about for space as well. Michael staffs back one of his knights just for healing. It's so imba, the human staff, even if it is tier 3, just sort of unlimited free healing for any unit. It's crazy. Invisible Panda coming along here, just clearly trying to scout a bit in addition to his Shade, because he doesn't want to spend too much on Shades when he doesn't have to, and just gets a quick breath of fire there. Doesn't manage to steal any of the creeps, but actually very nice here. He brings in his Zeppelin as well, and just ensnares this Griffin Rider. And what he should pick up this Panda with his Zeppelin there. There he goes. He should drop his Fiends on the other side of these trees just to pick off this Griffin Rider, because I think it would be in range. And that might be what he does now. No, I don't think. Oh, maybe he's going back to do it. Oh, it's a shame that he didn't. I think that would have been quite good if he just had his Fiends here attacking the ensnared Griffin on the other side, with the Zeppelin giving the vision. But oh well. And some more creeping here. The Blood Mage obviously back out with one ivory tower. It's quite nice to have one ivory tower because it can act almost as a sentry ward when you have the vision upgrade, because you can just pop it down any place and you don't even need to upgrade it. It's just sort of a really, really cheap way of getting true sight on any area. And I'm not sure if he'll put it down here just to scout for Shades, but it looks like he doesn't have any militia coming in. Oh no, he has a couple peasants coming in, but I think they might just be long distance mining at this point. And his Panda comes in to attack the few number of units. And what you'll see Michael's done actually is, since Space went for Panda first, Micheal knows he can't mass units because Panda's so good against massed units that he's had to sort of tech up and wait for a few number of high hit point units, which are going to be worse against the Panda. And 4 statues here for Space, so it looks like he will be going for Destros at some point. Maybe converting one now. Yeah, there we go. There's the first one now, and he immediately siphons some mana off a second one, and so he has one with 400 mana already, and those just do so much damage to both Knights and Shredders actually. So that's going to be quite good. And no mana on the Panda at the moment because it had his mana siphoned, but the Mud Golem does go down, and I'm surprised we haven't seen the ultimate yet, because Space does have a potion of mana, so he could have used his ultimate, but I guess he didn't want to. He actually uses it and then gets a haze and a fire off, and I'm not sure, that might have been the first time we actually saw him use haze all game. I can't remember him using it before now. And the Panda, it looks like Space is really in control here. There's not much Micheal can do. He's going to take down this Berserker, and then obviously this Panda is just so hard to take down. And these Destros, he has no chance really, because he only has one unit that can attack air, and that's a Blood Mage, which isn't known for its DPS. And the Panda does have an invuln pod as well, but he shouldn't need it. There's no real complicated micro going on here. And meanwhile in Space's base, he's creating a Frost Worm, and those are very nice late game, because when you only have a couple units, you can really slow a large percentage of them with a Frost Worm, and Frost Worms are just so nice anyways. And actually siphoning some mana to his Paladin so that he can, I'm not sure if it's use Divine Shield or use Holy Light. He will get staffed home, I presume. Yeah, he does. And the Blood Mage now needs to run. He doesn't have his TP staff anymore, so he will just have to run. But doesn't have boots, which the Panda does, so it could be quite bad. But Micheal brings in all his flying units as well as 2 Knights to chase away the Panda, so very nicely played by him. And his roster's now almost out, and you can see he's building more Fiends as well, just against all those air units. And meanwhile, he's creeping this small creep camp. He does bring his Blood Mage away so that the Paladin gets some of the experience, because this Blood Mage is already over level 5, so it would be a bit of a waste otherwise. And looks like the Zeppelin will go down, but fortunately it doesn't have anything in it. And as you can see, Shade's continuing to scout for expansions, as well as ghouls by the looks of it. Just you can never be too careful with a human, especially on a map like Terran Stand, where there's so many expansions really nearby, which are all sort of fairly viable. And the Paladin's now out. He's level 3. It's a level 2 Holy Light, which is going to be very useful against Fiends. Fiends, especially when I play Human versus Undead, I really like to go Mountain King and then Paladin. It's really nice, and if my opponent goes Fiends, you can, once you get a couple levels on your heroes, you can one-shot them with a combination of those two moves. It's very fun, and Frostworm immediately getting shackled, but then getting unshackled when I think Micheal realizes how big the army is that Space has brought. And Space is actually expanding here, which is very nice, because you rarely see an undead mining more than a human, and literally nothing being lined by Micheal at this point. He doesn't even have those 3 peasants that he had at one point. And Blood Mage getting focused down, and Paladin will have to run here, but Divine Shield I think won't be on cooldown, so he will be okay. And this Zeppelin will take a lot of damage from this Frostworm if it ever catches up, and that will really end it. But it looks like the Zeppelin might get away. It's hard to say at this point. I'm not sure about their relative move speeds, to be honest. And certainly when it reaches the corner, it's going to come into some trouble. But no, it looks like Space turns away, decides just to focus on the expansion. This expansion's in quite a precarious position for undeads, against air at least, because you can just Micheal can just bring his air over this little gap here, take down a couple of acolytes, and then run back. And there's not really unless Micheal has some fiends waiting for him with web, there's not really much that he can do about this. And as you can see, Shade's now just continuing to scout about. He has, I think, 3 of them. There's 2. Yeah, he has 3 of them. So it might actually be overkill in terms of Shades, just because it's a small map. You generally only need 1 or 2, especially against a small army like this. And Space does have a good sense of what Micheal is doing at this point, because he doesn't have any income. He can't really change up his army composition, anything like that. And here's actually what I was saying before, the air coming in just to pick off, maybe, no, it's actually doing damage to the gold mine, but immediately starts mining and is chased away. And meanwhile, brings in his knights here, and the knights will take so much damage from this Frostworm, as well as a moderate from the destroyers, because they all do magic damage. And the Blood Mage having to tank here a bit. I'm not sure that's the right choice of focus by Space, because obviously Paladin can heal up very nicely. And Paladin having to run away now. No way of getting out apart from just running. And Space does get a haze out on him. And it looks like the slow from the Frostworms will kick in as well. Although very nice here, Dragon Hawk Rider come in and immediately shackle the Frostworm. But the Paladin does go down, and I think the Frostworm will go down as well, despite the focus fire. Despite the returning fire from the Panda, who's now level 7. And there's not really much Micheal can do at this point. He doesn't have his Paladin, and he has no way of reviving it. And Blood Mage is still level 5. If it was level 6, he might have a chance, because obviously Phoenix is such a nice spell. And Space should really watch out for these fiends. He loses 1 to Flame Strike. The others actually was just out of range. And one Dragon Hawk Rider goes down as well. And looks like a second one will go down as well. So the destroyers. And the ultimate finally being used by Space, and the Blood Mage does go down. And Micheal says GG. Okay, folks, well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was a very interesting game, actually. As I said, I'm not the best at Undead versus Human. It's not my best matchup. And so I hope and especially not when it's Blood Mage versus Panda. But I hope I managed to shed some light on that. So, thank you. Please feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe. Thanks.